I'm Tanisha.
And I'm Kiara.
And you're now entering the sister chat. Welcome to our podcast, Main Event Mamas.
Whoop, whoop. So it's been a long week, right, Tanisha?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh my goodness. I know we didn't keep our normal schedule, but y'all have to forgive me because I need more sleep after lack of the entire situation around WrestleMania. But I wanted to start this week with our parental pinfall, right? So the thing that almost took us out this week, there's a few things. It's a few things.
We got time today. We got time.
I mean, we're going to have to make time because, ma'am, the roughness that has gone on in our worlds, you know that my daughter was in a play. So last minute. Yep. Makeup. Woo, woo. My good girl, she was in Chicago this weekend, and it was amazing. I think they did a really great job. This was my favorite play the school put on so far. But it was getting to that finish line, though. So, this is my girl who has been sick for a little while. So she's definitely pushed herself in all possible things to make sure she lived up to her goals and her requirements and her needs and all the things that make play life the thing that she does. Well, y'all, at the very last minute, I thought we were all set. I've spent $50 on makeup. Her wardrobe's all ready to go. Her hair was done. She visited mom's hair studio the weekend before.
Absolutely.
Looking like a star. Feeling good, too, which was amazing. And then we get down to the day of, and it was like, I don't know if it was last minute nerves or what it was, but all them kids lost their mind a little bit.
A bomb went off?
We're not going to talk about the room, but we're just going to say, it was a lot. It was a lot trying to get her wrangled to prepare for this opening night. And so we got through that, and it was great. And then the next morning, of course, now I have my son who's preparing for college, and he's doing extracurricular volunteer activities. So we woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning to drive him to this race, in which I wasn't racing. I was just there. I was just support. And then, so we were there. Me, the girl child, the boy, just there all morning. He's doing things, and we are sleeping in the car. And my daughter is smart enough to have brought in a blanket, which I did not. So she was cozy in the back seat, considering that she had such an eventful night the night before with her opening night and stuff. And so then we go on to getting that wrapped up. Woohoo! Yay, volunteer, helping people out. And then we get to, the fun of the second part of the day, which is her matinee. So I rush home, I buy groceries, I do all the things. I'm like, okay, I got to make sure the kids got their snack. What are we going to do? Do you know this girl had the audacity to tell me that the sodas that I picked were not good enough for her friends?
Wait. First off, we used a big word. We said audacity.
Yes, audacity. That's where I was. The fire within me that started to build, because here I was going out my way again, taking my weekend as it is, as one does when we have children. We sacrifice sleep, a very important part of my life. And she's upset about the sodas that I picked for them. So I proceed to negotiate as one does, because I didn't feel like arguing because I was tired.
We negotiated.
And so, yes, we did. So when we negotiated, I was like, all right, check it out. I'm going to get Coca-Cola, which was the most expensive.
What did you get?
Okay, so I got Coca-Cola, and I got some random whatever was at Aldi. I don't know. I just picked which brand. Yes. And what is the problem? Because Aldi's
not all store brands are the same.
Listen, Aldi's private label things are delicious.
To who?
To me. And to many other people out there. If you're an Aldi fan, I'll go ahead and add that to the comment, because you too can join that particular tribe in which our groceries are much cheaper than the ones you're going to get at Walmart or your local grocery store. Just gonna say that. I'm just gonna put that out there. If you're if you want that information. However, so, like I said, so we argued, and then we ended up with lemon lime, whatever that was. I don't know. I think it was somewhere between Sprite and 7-Up. I don't drink soda, so I got no answers for you there.
Was that the store brand too?
Well, the Coca-Cola was not.
But the lemon lime was.
It said lemon lime. I don't know. It said lemon lime.
That's okay.
Anyway, doesn't matter. So then we get it all settled, and we're dropping her off for the matinee. And I have been driving at this point for at least 2 hours because back and forth. And then we get her to school, and she calls me and says, "But I forgot my makeup."
Oh, I remember, because then you called me upset. Yeah.
Now we have multiple things against us at this moment. I am tired. I have been up since 5 o'clock in the morning. I have not been in my bed since I don't know what time for the activities in which we're undertaking. And then after we finished with my son's initial thing, I went grocery shopping, right? So I'm doing the things all with the goal of taking a nap after I finished dropping off the girl child. Instead, I had to drive 30 minutes back home, spend 15 minutes in the jungle that is her room, locating makeup, the jungle, and then drive 30 minutes back to the school, only to try and drive again 30 minutes back home.
Wait, I got a question.
Okay.
Is the jungle like the room that was in Encanto?
That was nicer. It probably smells better too. So no, teenagers and dirty clothes and play clothes that are full of makeup and sweat. No, it doesn't smell great in there right now. Anyway, so as you can tell, that wrapped itself up. That was a nice 2 hour, an hour and a half experience. So that was a difficult Saturday in my eyes.
Well, did you get to take a nap?
No. So I came, as I was driving back home, I realized I was angry and I needed to do some self-care, to calm down, because it was going to be another really long night, considering that after this particular matinee, there's another one from 7 to 9 o'clock. So I went to get my nails done, as you can see. Got blue.
Nice.
Got blue. Found me a new nail spot. Shout out to Upscale. I don't know what the last name is. I'm sorry. It's Upscale Nails. Whatever. I'll give you guys the information next time. But that was my Saturday. So it was a lot to go through. I didn't get my nap in. I went to the 7 to 9 thing. And then we had to figure out what to eat, because that is a day-end-old situation of anyone who has to take kids to lots of activities. You have no clue what you're going to eat at 9 o'clock. And then that started the DoorDash debacle, in which I ordered the food. The Dasher went to pick it up, poor Dasher, only to find out that the store was closed. And so the Dasher, in their kindness, calls me and goes, "I'm really sorry, but they're closed. So I don't know what to do." And I was like, "Thank you for letting me know. I'll go ahead and cancel the order." So I go through, I cancel the order, but now it's 9 o'clock and I need to figure out what to feed these kids, because it is that time. And then the next thing that happens is I get a call from the store and the vendor, who tells me that it was a mistake and that they, in fact, just had a Dasher leave there with my order, which I, know is a lie, because I already spoke to the Dasher and they were like, "Yeah, ain't nothing here. It's closed. There are chairs on the tables, closed. No lights on, closed." And so then I had to get back on the phone with DoorDash in confusion of explaining that, just give me my money back. I don't want the food, because we ended up with Zaxby's. So like I said, Saturday was a wash. So It was a rough day, but it was a beautiful play. So I guess all's well that ends well, right?
Well, what I do know as a dasher in my many forms of entrepreneurship, when the store is closed, we're all supposed to provide proof that the store is closed.
Oh.
So it's a very possibility that the store was not closed and he just took your food.
It was a lady, and she sounded really nice. So I hope not. But it's okay.
Girl.
I mean, we solved it. Do you do that? Is that what you're telling me as a dasher?
Okay, well, first off, I'm going to say I plead the fifth. Second off, yeah, I plead the fifth.
Okay. Well, we're going to move on. Let's talk about your week with the kids. How was that?
Well, let's just say I haven't ended up on the news.
That's an accomplishment.
That's an accomplishment. Let's say we haven't had nobody on a milk carton. That's great.
Yes.
However, I do need to know, parents out there, especially of teenagers, and particularly boys. Actually, no, just parent of teenagers in general. Anywhere in the United States, anywhere overseas, anything can happen. Okay? Because my teenage child, my boy child, the teenager, that one, I just want to sometimes, just, you know, just,
Ma'am.
Sometimes you gotta put him in a headlock.
A headlock?
And hit him with the knee a little bit. Blah, blah.
Okay.
Of course, this is all play banner.
Yeah, we want to.
Don't call ACS on me. I do not encourage child abuse.
Thank you. That's important. That's a disclaimer to this section.
If you hit your kid, you hit him with your hand open. Okay. So ultimately, there's an issue. Okay, so parents, I need to understand. I need to know. Please chime in, comment, let me know any experience. But I feel like my child's teacher is picking on him, in particularly. At first, initially, let me break it down for you. Once again, remind you guys, my oldest child is high functioning autistic, which means when you look at him, he seems like a normal child, a normal teenager, until you start talking to him, until you start doing a whole bunch of stuff, then you realize you're not as normal as I think you are.
You're a little different.
Yeah. You're a little different, but it's okay. So either way, he's in a special class where he gets two teachers for his core subjects. So for one of this core subjects, this is U.S. history, he has two teachers. And one teacher in particular always is coming to check on him. With my oldest son, he does not like to be micromanaged. That actually caused more anxiety for him and frustration. When it's people, especially he don't know, that constantly, he feels like you're constantly picking on him. He feels like you're constantly coming and just checking on him and not checking on nobody else. And now, granted, disclaimer, my son does have a history of if he's not interested or he will sit here and draw. And he's an amazing artist. Amazing artist. But that's the history he has. However, this particular incident this week, my child, well, it was told to me that my child said, go F yourself. Because he was tired of the teacher messing with him. The teacher called me. And of course, in true fashion, I was there in 2 splits of a hat.
Okay.
And he almost died in that lobby. Okay, hold on. Let me take that back. Disclaimer. No child was physically hurt at all.
Thank you. That's important.
But he did get cussed out. He got cussed out. And surprisingly, I called the co-parent, and he was very calm.
Progress.
To this child. So that was progress. We'll talk about that later. That was just on one progress. Anyway. So, now, talking to the teacher's giving me the rundown of, well, I told him to do this and I told him to do that, and he kind of gave me an attitude and he kind of pushed back. And then he has his friend who has been a very good person for my oldest. I've never met her, but I like in the changes that I am seeing in him and wanting to go to school, wanting to do different things because she is in his classes. That's the disclaimer. So then the teacher decided to tell me about, well, even she heard it and she kind of like went to protect him and said he didn't say anything. And I was like, okay, cool. Then Jalen, whatever. My oldest child's name is Jalen. So Jalen decided to really say, Ma, I didn't say anything. I did not say that. I'm like, so what did you say? Who said it? I don't know. Are you protecting somebody? Because you getting in trouble. He's like, no, Ma, I'm not protecting nobody. Okay, cool. After the conversation and looking at my son's eyes, I said, you know what I said. I don't think he actually said it. Do I think he said something? Absolutely. But I don't think he said that. I think he was just frustrated. Now let's fast forward. Actually, hold on, wait. Me and the co-parent actually agreed, and we don't normally agree on a lot of things, especially when it comes to that child. He was like, that doesn't sound like him. I don't think that's him. I was like, oh, I think we agreed on something. God damn. Well, fast forward to the end of the day. I asked my child again, what happened now that you're home? Tell me. It's just us. Well, you heard what he was saying. Well, you know, he was messing with me. He was bothering me. Okay, so then you got frustrated. So what did you say? So you said it, didn't you? No, I didn't say that.
It's the face that gives it away.
That boy was smiling ear to ear. I said, listen. I said, I swear to God, if you ever open your mouth and be disrespectful to another adult, I'm going to come up there and hurt you. All right, Mom. Don't play with me. Now we fast forward to the next day. This is where it gets interesting. This is where I think this teacher is picking on my child. So anyway, so teachers definitely chime in too. I need y'all to chime in. So now the next day happens. The teacher calls me right after class saying, nothing has changed. Sir, it's only been 12 hours. Not even a full 24. What do you want to happen? What, did he cuss at you out? Well, no, he didn't cuss at me, but this is what he did. He decided to push the paper away from me. And then when I, excuse me, and then when I gave him his test results, he took it and then crumpled it up. I just find that's really rude, and he's not going in the same direction that he's supposed to be going into. We talked about this, and he acknowledged that, yes, he's going to do better. But this is not going in that direction. But however, I just want to let you know, we'll be in touch. This is my cell phone number. You can call me whenever. Okay, no problem. Because initially, after I got off the phone, I was going to go up to that school again and be like, if I got to come up to this school every day to embarrass you, I will.
That's fair.
But then I thought about it. Nigga, why you picking on my kid? That's just how I look at it. Now tell me if I'm wrong. Because I'm not saying my child is a peachy keen and he don't do no wrong. I'm not one of those parents. I just like I didn't do the other day. That's not my kid. My kid didn't tell you that and sat my ass home. No. I went to go address it. However, I do know my kid enough to know that there is a potential that he definitely could have said it, or he could have said something in the regards and you took it as, go F yourself. And I get it. As adults, we want respect. That's what you're supposed to do, because we grew up in an era that you respect your elders. These kids nowadays, they didn't grow up in that era, and they just think they could do whatever. So that's a challenge, trying to get my son to understand that you have to respect the people. Now, granted, I did tell him, so if you was out in the street and this Negro was sitting here talking how he was talking to you and you felt this way, you can say whatever the hell you want to say, because, you know, it's what it is. I mean, I know I would. But anyway, I digress. But I do need help. I need parents to let me know, what do you guys think? Because I think, granted, I did not get a call today. And he had class today, which means after my conversation with him yesterday, because I even told him, I said, listen, now you have a target on your back. So that's the other thing. Then before I went to work, I sat here and had a conversation when he came home. And I said, hey, what's going on? He goes, he keeps messing with me, Mom. Okay, so since you know he keeps messing with you, right now you got a target on your back because you already showed that you could be disrespectful. And the fact that your mama came up here quick in a hurry, he's going to continue doing those things. I'm not saying I don't want calls to be told what my child is doing. However, you are the teacher. You have been with him for an hour out of the day, every day, 5 days a week. You should have learned him and understand, okay, there's certain things. And if I'm telling you, I even told this man he does not like to be micromanaged. Do not be right next to him because that gives him extra anxiety and it stresses him out. So then now he doesn't want to do his work because he was doing his work. And now if you're over there, like, looking at him like, what you doing? What you doing? That makes him not want to do it. You have to understand my child is special. He is not just some normal teenager that I'm like, all right, whatever. No, that actually bothers him. He has true anxiety. That's why we transfer him to schools. He can walk to school now, and the anxiety level has lessened a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I literally told him, you have a target on your back right now. You need to not give him any ammunition. There was no need for you to crumple your paper. So what, you didn't want it? Okay, he's like, but it fell. I said, no, you just sat here and thought about it. You told me why. You didn't want the paper. Okay, you didn't need to crumble it up because now he's going to look for any small thing to make it a bigger thing to tell me.
That's fair.
So I must say, I have not got a call today, which means he must have took my advice. But either way, so I need to know. I need to understand what's going on. And parents out there, have you ever experienced this? What were your suggestions? What did you do? Maybe I'm doing something wrong. Trying to teach him different. So anybody who has a special needs child, definitely chime in. Let me know. Help me out. Because my child, I've always do something. He's had ADHD, but he just got recently diagnosed with autism. So if anybody can help me, that'd be great. Let me know. Give me some tips. Let me know if my approach is a little wrong. Now I will tell you, don't give me that, because don't tell me gentle parenting, because I do both. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Don't tell me about no gentle parenting. Okay, I don't judge nobody in their house. That may work for you, but I gotta have a mixture of gentle parent and a little bit of hood. Okay,
that's real.
You're not about to go, Timmy, go in the corner. Go in the corner, Timmy. I need you in this corner for 5 minutes. That don't work over here in this household.
No.
Because they won't remember why they were in the corner for 5 minutes. All they know is that you put them in the corner. So, my daughter told me, your niece told me that she don't trust me yesterday. And let me tell you why she told me she don't trust me. Okay? So, I'm at work. I called, check on them, make sure everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing. Going to bed. Mind you, there's an adult here, so don't call ACS on me. So there's an adult. And she goes, Ma, I just don't trust you. And I said, wait a minute, what are you talking about? So this is how this started. She goes, Mommy, can I make waffles? No, you can't make no waffles. It's 9 o'clock at night. You need to go to bed. What are you doing making waffles at 9 o'clock? No, I'll make waffles in the morning. I don't trust you, Mom. When I tell you, I stood up and looked at her I was like, excuse me? You said what? You don't trust me?
You were on video, right?
Yes, I was on video. I was like, excuse me, you don't trust me? She was like, yes, Mom, I don't trust you. I said, wait a minute, about some waffles? She was like, Mom, you remember the time you told you was going to make us lunch and bring it to us? Yeah. And you remember you didn't bring it to us? Yeah. That's why I don't trust you. I said, oh! I said, wait, hold on, time out. When did I tell you I was going to bring you food and then bring it? I'm supposed to bring it yesterday? She was like, no, Mom. It was the other time. And I was like, what other time? When? She's like, Mommy, it doesn't matter. That's why I don't trust you. So, can I make the waffles? No! You need to go to bed.
The answer was still no.
Yeah. And then she goes, well, I'm just going to make me some rice. Girl!
These kids are different than we were growing up. No was no. You know what I mean? Like, if my mom said it, if my dad said it, sometimes when my grandma said it, sometimes she could be convinced otherwise. But especially for your parents, it was always no is no, and do not follow up with another question, because there was no gentle parenting. Something might be thrown at your head. I quite remember that happening quite a few times. Like, I already told you no, get out my face. So these new kids, it's like this new generation.
This new generation, I don't know.
They push the boundaries. They're like, no.
You know why they push the boundaries? Because, like I just said a couple times, don't call ACS on me. They are quick to be like, I will call the cops. Why? Why? For what?
You remember what we were told about that?
Go ahead, call the cops. you better have your bag packed and be ready to go. I'm giving you a reason to call the cops.
That's what you got? The reason, what I got was, you can call the cops all you want to, but you got to survive until they get here. Because if the cops come down here, I'm going to be arrested for something I actually did. That's what I was told.
That sounds like something our father would definitely say, for sure.
He did say it more than once.
I think I may have weaseled my way out of it a couple of times, so...
Yeah, you might have weaseled your way out. I just learned no was no.
Oh, wait.
Especially with my parents. I learned no was absolutely not. And if you ask again, your life is on the line. So I think we talked a little bit about that gentle parenting and how that's a little...
We didn't have that growing up, no.
No, and I also think, to our benefit, is we learned that some rules are seriously rules and you have to follow them, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts, except for maybe you. There's no ifs, ands, or buts to it.
Wait, I got a core memory. Hold on. But I got us all in trouble.
Oh God.
It comes with it because that was a hard, I told you not to do it. So that time I couldn't get out of it. I told you not to do it. And you're gonna know what it is. This is when Dad lived in the country part of Massachusetts.
You're not going to bring this up.
I am, because that just unlocked the core memory. And these people need to know I always get everybody in trouble. And,
you do.
And people protect me at all times. But, so ultimately, you know how we tell you not to talk to strangers, right? We grew up not talking to strangers. Even now, as adults, we're still telling kids, hey, don't be talking to strangers. Don't get in the car if they offer you some candy. Don't be sitting here trying to get in the car if they try to tell you they need to find their dog. So you want to know what I did? The person
almost got us kidnapped, you mean?
Well, okay, yeah, I guess. In hindsight, yes. I didn't know that's what we were doing, because I figured it was all of us. So all of us can't get kidnapped. If all of us were looking for his dog.
Yes. I have told this story, so let me condense it for you.
Yep,
there was a huge group of cousins, because we have a massive family, and we were all with Dad at his house, or a huge group of us. I definitely think it had to be more than like 20, because we broke up in groups. So the stranger comes up to us, and he tells us that he's looking for his dog. And so my delightful and loving sister, who loves all the animals, is like, we will help him. And so we break up. This is the only thing that probably saved our lives, is we break up in groups of like 3s and 4s. Like, there was no 2s. You had to be 3s or 4s. And there was older, middle, and a younger child. So we were smart enough to like...
Was Bam with us, or was it Kevin? I don't remember.
I'm about to tell you how we got caught.
Oh, okay.
Because, in fact, Bam and I had this conversation.
Oh.
Bam is our other brother that you guys haven't met yet. So we all go off into these groups searching for this dog in this area. And while we're doing this, yes, it is in the woods. It is very dangerous. It is 100% could have been an episode of Dateline, except for Bam got upset. And so he was thirsty because he was very young. He had to be under 5 at this time. Maybe he was about 5 or 6. I can't remember. But he gets upset and he has to go to the bathroom. And so the person in his group tells him, they go back to the house and they tell him to go do whatever. He goes into the house and Dad's there, and Dad asks him what we were doing. And then he proceeds to tell Dad the truth.
What?
Thank God he did, because we survived our near-death experience. And because now that as an adult, this guy was super creepy, and he was trying. None of us were alone with him because we were still in groups, but we were smart enough not to go super close to him where he could grab you or anything, but we were dumb enough to fall for this in the first place. And so nonetheless, so when Bam tells our father what happened, our father comes out this house. He is 6'2", well over 300 pounds, and comes out and the man took off running. I have never in my life seen anything that terrified of something. So he hops in his van because we're dumb.
Oh, it was a van? I thought it was just a regular car.
His van, okay, and then takes off. And then, courtesy of her idea, we all got spankings according to age and severity of the crime. So I will tell you one thing we did learn: never to do that again.
For sure.
So you're helping me revisit that childhood trauma of how we almost died and we're at Dateline episode. I appreciate that. Thanks. Either way,
the only reason why y'all got in trouble is because y'all didn't want to snitch on me.
Which also we were taught. So it was a very... It was a very confusing thing.
Snitches get stitches. We don't.
Right. So it was like, do the right thing, but don't snitch on your siblings, which is why we were all beat in collective solidarity, even though I believe I was the one who was like, I don't want to do this, and just went along with it. But that's fine. It's fine. So now y'all know one of the secrets from our childhood that perhaps I don't know why came to light today.
That this pretty face can get y'all in trouble.
We're done. This is the parenting pinfall section, and we are moving on. Now, I just really realized we almost got kidnapped. I think I told someone a story a couple years ago, and she literally looked at me and was like, "You're right. You could have been a Dateline episode." And we just sat there in silence, looking at each other like, "Yeah, thank you." So, all the kids out there, all the adults out there who survived.
Do not talk to strangers, even though we get into Ubers, but they have pictures for a reason. But do not. Still, teach your children. Do not help somebody try to find their dog. Be in a group of more than 2 people. Make sure one of them knows how to fight and the other one has a phone.
Just don't do it. That's all I'm saying. Don't learn a lesson from people who might have never been here again, as if you don't fall for that. So thanks. All right, end of that segment. Let's move on to adulting, because I don't need to revisit anymore childhood trauma.
No worries. So sorry. It just hit my head because of what we were talking about. My bad. So yeah, I love you. I'm so happy you love me.
Next topic. So we all know part of adulting is coming to realizations and changing things in your life, right? Mm-hmm. So in some of that cases, it means ending relationships, right? And deciding maybe this person is not the right fit for your life. For many of us, we discover that late in life after we've already married and now need to divorce. And you have this new dynamic of trying to find your person again, now with kids, and also having go through the feeling and the world according to divorce, which is nuts. I've never seen anyone come out of it better than they went into it, at least mentally. So please, anyone out there, please get some therapy before you go out there in the dating pool. But that's my first thought. But Tanisha, you would have a little bit more advice and interest and experience on this topic than I would, because admittedly I have not been divorced. So tell me, like, what's it like out there? Like, where do you start if you want to get to know someone? I think my first question is, like, where do you meet people, right? Like, I think that's hard for any of us.
I mean, you can meet people anywhere, right? I went on a date one time from somebody who worked at the grocery store during the pandemic. Granted, I regretted that after. And this is more so, we had masks on, they were doing their job, heard the voice, like, ooh, oh, you're tall, you're kind of okay, you sound cute, I got you. And then when he picked me up, I was like, what the hell is this? Who is this? Why is your voice changed? Is it because of the mask? And then it was like he was young. Then it was just like, it was just too much happening. That date, definitely after that date, I knew we weren't going on another date. He thought that date went well because he kept texting me like, hey, so where we? And I was like, I ghosted his ass. It was because it just wasn't. He was doing too much joking about my kids. It was weird. It was just he just wasn't for me. And if the date, pretty much anybody who has to watch me eat my food to make sure I eat all my food because you're paying for it is not who I need to be with.
Okay, these streets are crazy. What? Okay.
So that's that. Was a thing. So that was a thing. Then I have dibbled and dabbled on dating sites.
Not much out there.
It's not that much out there. Or they put it on you so thick, and then you'd be looking like there was one guy. I was like, oh, hey. He was like, hey, beautiful. How you doing? Like every day. I was like, oh, okay. I like this. Okay, how you? But then it was like, once I went to, well, why are you still single? Well, I had my wife. I'm a widow, and I said, so you for the last 5 years you didn't date nobody, like zero? Yeah, nah. I'm just getting out, nigga. You lie. Why you lying? So, and then once I was like, I think he wanted my phone number, and I didn't want to give it to him. Then all of that went away. There was no more, hey, beautiful. It was because now I'm questioning you because I'm going, what you said to me don't make no sense, homie. You're going to tell me you have, and then I asked him, well, have you at least been sexually active? Well, no. Now, nigga, now you lying. Now you lie.
Like, well, not everyone's lying.
In New York, and you look fine, and you sitting here putting on thick, saying, hey, beautiful, how you doing? You're going to tell me not one person didn't invite? And you're going to tell me not one person you didn't sit here and sleep with? You're not going to tell me not one person out of the whole 5 years you didn't do nothing, but you sitting here putting it on thick on me, and you never met me? Girl.
I mean, he might have been blinded by your beauty.
There's not enough beauty in the world that would make you blind, that make you sit here and think I'm going to believe any little lie. Anyway. But then, you can meet people. I don't recommend meeting people at the bar. I would say where I have met people, I met them on Facebook. Like my current person, I met him on Facebook, but we also have a history.
You knew him, right?
I knew him. So we had a history, and it kind of followed its way out. But with my ex-husband, I met him on MySpace. I met a lot of guys on MySpace. I ain't gonna lie. Okay, hold on. Disclaimer. I'm not a hoe. Not a hoe. I just like to talk to people. That doesn't mean everybody that I talk to, I meet or I see or I hang out with. I just want to put that disclaimer out there. That's not me. I will talk all day. I will have a conversation. I will sit here and be like, ha, 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 kiki, and give about my day. But for single moms, yes, the pool is... it's not as great because there are pre-notions about us being parents, and when it's right to have your child meet the person you're talking to. Like for me, I even question it. I mean, the person, when I was starting to talk to people, or even like one of my other friends that I was talking to that we had a history with, that I met when I was not a teenager, when I was an adult. Like if we FaceTime, I had to like strategically FaceTime him while my kids weren't paying attention. Like now. So, and they were always like, who you talking to? Back up. Because I had a rule. If we are trying to figure out if we're going to be dating, you can't see my kids. The only time you can see my kids is if I know that, okay, we ain't going nowhere. We're just going to be friends. And once me and this particular person decided we were just going to be friends, then I didn't really care. We was even talking about like doing like a vacation, not a family vacation, but like a vacation, because he's raising his younger child. and she doesn't have all her siblings are adults, and so she doesn't have anybody to like play with. So we kind of was trying to plan that, but also I had to keep reminding him, "You my friend, like we ain't gonna do anything. I just want you to like be friends. Like we're not. I'm not bringing my kids over here, and then now you think we a fan. Nah." Okay. So that never actually happened. You have to figure out what's right for you guys. I do sometimes. I ain't gonna lie. I do judge when people are constantly bringing people that they talk to around their children, and that's a childhood trauma per se for me because of I love my mommy, but she did have relationships with people, and then they would come. I get to love them. I love on them, and then they break up, and then it's, well, where did they go? Now, granted, she only did that to, I only know a couple, so I'm not gonna say my mom's a hoe either, but I know a couple people that I can definitely say like I grew close to, like, you know, where it was like when they broke up, it was really hard for me. Mm-hmm. So I said I would never do that to my children. However, the person I met, who I'm currently with, that's a story for another time, but he did meet my children. It wasn't in the traditional way of how I would have wanted, but we also had decided to, regardless of what our relationship, our romantic relationship was, we were still going to be friends. So regardless of that, so it was like, that's how it kind of happened in a way. And of course my kids love him. They, you know, that's their pops or whatever. But I just say for single parents who are single moms or even single dads, because I need single dads too, not to have every person that you're talking to be around your kid. Be very strategic, because one, we don't know who you truly introducing to, because we see it in the news all the time that girlfriends, boyfriends be doing stuff to the kids, and sometimes the other parents all along. Like you have to be not afraid to be by yourself, and that's something that I'm learning too. You have to really be okay with yourself and know what you are bringing to the table for yourself. Not what you're bringing to the table for the relationship. Because at the end of the day, the relationship is supposed to enhance you. Now, I'm not saying every relationship is going to be perfect. And you're not going to have your ups and your downs. That's going to be in marriage. That's going to be in regular relationships. You're going to have your ups and your highs and your lows. And you have to decide how it affects you. If it's too low for you, what you going to do? And if it's too high, don't always believe that it's too good to be true. It could just be that's where you are right now. But understand, no relationship stays up here. They don't stay up here. Nope. They definitely go here. Sometimes they can go down here. And you have to decide, like me and my ex-husband, when we go all the way down here, what are we going to do? Because I can talk about that Negro all day, every day. And the reason why I say that is because he brought people around my children, unbeknownst to me. And it was the way it was done. So that's why I'm very careful with how it's done, and always think about how the other person would feel if this was vice versa. So if you're saying for you, if your ex-partner or your co-parent decides to start dating somebody and they just randomly just start bringing that person around your kid and you feel negatively about it, then that means you shouldn't do it either. You gotta, and that's how it comes and gives a take with being single, being a mom, or a dad, just being single parent, trying to navigate you as a person, as an adult, and trying to get yourself back out there in the dating pool. And you have to be strategic, because not everybody's, you don't want to always bring somebody home from the club. That's a little, because those are drunken decisions. Those are not sober decisions. That's number one. So I definitely do not recommend doing that. But actually get to know the person. Talk to them on FaceTime. Do certain things. Come with certain situations and see how they would handle it if it was theirs. It does help to date someone who has kids, because then they understand your commitment to your children and you will understand their commitment to their children.
I'm going to stop you there only because when my parents broke up, so we have the same father, if you guys haven't figured that out now. When my parents broke up, one of the biggest challenges of my mom dating someone who had children is whether we got along or not. And we did not. We did not. And I would say even when dad went to marry our stepmom, and she had an older daughter, there was definitely some tension there because there's a lot of feelings, right? There's a lot of feelings of like how you feel about your parents together, whether you want them happy, the dynamic the other person has, and whether that's going to mesh. And then say you have parents who are maybe not the best at, helping you navigate this new person in your life and who they're going to be and what they're going to mean.
Mm-hmm.
It was hard. I think that was a hard thing to think of, which is why, I've been fortunate in that I haven't had to do too much dating, because my husband and I have been together for a really long time, but we weren't always together, right?
I do remember.
We were not always together. There were some periods there where we had to make some decisions, and I did too, to determine if this is the person I was going to spend my life with. And I found, like you said, the power in being alone. I really got to spend time. I didn't run off and like date a whole bunch of people when we broke up. I really just wanted to spend the time to get to know myself, what I wanted, what I didn't want, and to heal. I think that's one of the things people fall short on in that situation.
True.
Yes, your relationship did not work. Yes, you had children with this person. Whether it ended in a good way or less amicably, there's still feelings and emotions and history to deal with before you introduce a new person and their potential their people into the mix. So I agree with you in the sake of there's something to being alone and to spending that time to get to know yourself. And I learned a lot of things. Like I love movies by myself. That's like one of my favorite things to do. I like the gym. I didn't need someone to kind of hang out with me to do that. So just saying, I agree that there's something to spending that time alone to get to know yourself before you introduce other people to it. And then again, like I said, trying to navigate other children with your children and your new boo things, it can get messy. And I think that definitely took a detriment on my mom's relationship with the guy at that time, was that we just hated each other. I think dad and our stepmom navigated it a little better, because I just think that they had a different maybe perspective and attitude towards it to a degree. Yeah. But especially because, dad was like, we're all family. Doesn't matter. There was no steps or halves or quarters.
No quarters. Like if you ask me, like you'd be like, oh, that's your half sister. No, that's my sister. We don't do the halves. We don't even with my my stepdaughter, even though me and her father are not together. You can't tell me that ain't my child. That's my child. I help raise her. And she about to go to college. She about to go to college, but if you ask her, she will tell you who I am. There's no questions or nothing. Just like how you said, like even like with our stepmom. Like I call her mom. Like she's been around, and I think how they did navigate it was probably a lot better. Definitely than me, our moms. But
respectfully with their own people.
Respectfully with their own peoples. But ultimately, the main thing that y'all need to worry about is healing. Because if you don't heal, you will bring all that trauma and that negativity to whatever relationship you have. Trust me. Even though I enjoyed being by myself, I definitely did bring all that trauma with me and is now trying to unpack it so I can stop hurting my relationship. So that's the one thing y'all need to figure that out. So, we're here. Y'all can still drop a comment. Let us know what y'all experience were being a single parent or being a divorcee or trying to co-parent and trying to navigate who you guys are without just being a parent. But also, like, give us some tips. Maybe you have some tips that you can help share with me. Or marriage relationship advice that you can share. Because ultimately, all we want is for kids to be happy, us to be happy, and moving forward.
Yeah, and growth, right? Like, cheers to growth. And this is a place where we want to have those conversations and we want to discuss what that kind of feels like. And any advice is welcome. Like, we're going to do our best not to judge you. Because clearly it might have worked for you. And it may, like we just discussed, gentle parenting. Yeah, my kids are too hard-headed for gentle parenting. But now that they are teenagers, we do have to have deeper discussions than when they were 8 and 9. right? Like, I'm not going to just tell you because I said so at 15 when you can probably argue me into the ground on the told you so thing. Also, again, that takes us back to this whole generational and the lack of wanting to say no. But we're in the business of helping each other, right? So come join our community, share your thoughts, send us a note. And if you haven't, this is your moment to hit this like and subscribe button so you get to see our episodes first, our content first, and you can join us in our tribe.
We want you here. We want you here. So now.
All right, so let's move on to our next segment, Ringside Reflections. And so this week we're unpacking Raw and SmackDown, starting with last Friday's SmackDown, which was freaking incredible.
It definitely was, for sure. Still got thoughts and feelings, but I am with it. SmackDown has always been my favorite show, for real.
I mean, I can see why. I know my likes have kind of teetered and tired over the years. Sometimes Raw, sometimes SmackDown. But I will say SmackDown has become my favorite for a while. It's been holding tight. So let's kick it off with, like, I guess we can go in whatever order, but we're going to start with the table, ladders, and chairs match because the incredible work by all of those teams, the way that I was screaming and yelling at my TV, shout out to WWE for making it commercial free because I didn't want to miss not 1 minute of why the Street Profits keep telling them. I keep telling y'all, the Street Profits, they're incredible. They're amazing. We should see them more. We should see them elevated in bigger places. We should have seen them on WrestleMania. Could you not see someone insert this table, ladders, and chairs match into either night of WrestleMania? And it would have been a killer moment, right?
For sure. This is definitely a WrestleMania caliber match. That match was so intense. There were so many moments where you was like, wait, wait. You had like kind of you didn't know what was going to happen. You didn't know where it was going to happen, especially when Montez took that leg. Sir, first off, what are we doing? What are we doing? But you know what? That match was incredible. It pushed everyone to the limits. It did bring me back to when we actually did have good tables, ladders, and chairs matches, when we had the Hardy Boys, when we had Edge and Christian, when we had the Dudleys. Like
the Dudleys.
Yeah. When I tell you, that was like seeing, it was so nostalgic.
Yes.
Because they were actually performing. Now, granted, yes, you know how guys, like we talk about my setups and how I hate watching the setup. But there was one where I was like, I see it. But the other part of it, it was still like, it didn't distract me from the rest of the match. The match was amazing, especially you didn't know you had them all on. They kept. How many times did they go on the top of the ladders trying to get it? One couldn't grab it, the other one couldn't grab it. They were.
I don't know. And I thought it was great, right? Because how many times have we seen people get to the top of the ladder and they're about to grab the belt and you're like, no. But this time, like I was like, who? I felt like an owl.
They were all talented, so they all deserve it. Yes. Which is crazy. And that's what you're also talking about, the caliber of the tag team division on SmackDown.
Yes.
It's so much different than it is on Raw. And I'm not trying to take away from Raw's tag team division, but that match did not need to be on SmackDown. That's not where that match was supposed to be. That match was supposed to be on that card because that is the caliber. And that was pretty much they were just trying to remind us, hey guys, y'all dropped the ball in this one. So we're all going to show you why we should have been on that up there. So then they could keep having their names talked about. And hopefully, they definitely need to be on the card next year for sure. For sure.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, but you're, like we've talked about, you're absolutely right. That tag team division is crazy on SmackDown. I'm not sure why it isn't on Raw. And so this is why I always start to think about the draft. And usually it does happen around this time of year. I confirmed that last time. So it does happen around this time of year because every like brand needs some more freshening up and some more heat. And I don't know. I just think the Raw SmackDown division, the Raw tag team division is just not as hot as SmackDown. And when you add my new favorites, Fraxium, to the mix, they are so fun to watch. It is like watching, I don't want to say superheroes, but like aerodynamic acrobats in the ring.
Okay.
Like they are on top of every rope. They're doing the most. Nathan Frazier is just such a joy to watch. I think he was trained at Seth's school.
Okay, yes, I think I've heard.
But I've watched him, and I've watched Axiom in NXT, and I am more than ready for them to be on SmackDown. I was upset, like when I was watching Stand and Deliver, and they lost the titles. I was furious about this because I was like, when am I going to see them? Only to find out that they were coming to SmackDown. So my heart is light and better, and I'm excited. And their debut match against the Garzas, ooh, so good. So good. Again, I wish we had that same kind of heat on Raw, and we just don't for this tag team division. And I don't know why. But welcome to Fraxium. We appreciate you for joining SmackDown. You're going to find out who they are, Nisha. I know you're like question mark right now.
But if you're excited, I'm excited.
I'm excited. I'm super excited about that. So that was great. Another good moment was Zelina becoming the champion, right?
But Queens, New York.
Love Zelina. Love everything she stands for. I was hoping it would have happened back in Puerto Rico when she was facing, I think, was it Rhea at the time? I can't remember. It doesn't matter. I think it was Rhea at the time. But I was hoping very much for her to have that moment then. But this one was a good mix. This one was a nice change. Her taking the U.S. Championship off of Chelsea Green. And I'm going to miss Chelsea a little. I love that she was complaining about it on social. I love that there was all these pictures of her and her Secret Service team. I love everything that she brings to this. And I'm excited about Zelina becoming a champion. I'm curious where we go from here. That girl can talk like nobody else. So I hope it's to bring up some really good conflict, some more women's stories like we talked about, feeding the conversation. There's a million reasons why you don't have to like someone. And Zelina, I mean, anybody would be jealous of her. So I'm just saying, I'm excited to see what becomes of what's next for her.
I mean, I'm definitely excited. It's definitely well overdue. And I think for a moment too, they didn't really know what to do with her either. So it's kind of good that now they haven't. Hopefully, they don't drop the ball. So far, SmackDown has been trying to make sure storytelling is happening a little bit more with the females, but it's still like, don't let them have a rematch and then she loses the title that fast. Like let her actually build and have the championship and be proud of who she is as a person, her heritage, where she comes from. Incorporate some of that in there. She did have great storylines in the past. I mean, I'll never forget her and Bianca. That was the most funniest, greatest thing ever, especially when Bianca came up in her house while she was live streaming, got beat up, and then, oh, you didn't see that one? Oh, girl, see, that was funny. And I'm trying to remember if it was about her like trying to talk to Montez or do it. I don't forgot what it was. But Bianca was like, I am not the winner, I'm not the two. You got me all the way effed up. And I'm gonna come to your door. When I tell you it's on site, it's gonna be on site. But you know what? I'm gonna actually just pull up. And it was so funny because Zelina was actually streaming, and she's like, "Can you get the door?" And telling her cousin to go get the door. And she's like, "I'm sorry, guys." Da-da-da-da-da. And then she was like, so then you hear Bianca, "So what's up?" She was like, "How you get up in here?" And she's like, "You say you had so much to say." And then pop, pop, pop. I was like,
what? Okay, I need to find this.
You have to find it because that was the most funniest. It was the most funniest thing ever. But it builds up. Like, I do remember, I miss having like people just showing up to people's houses like, "So you was talking all that smack, right? Yeah. You said I wasn't gonna pull up here, so here I am. So what you going to do?" But that was great. I mean, and then
so we're calling for more home invasion storylines.
Absolutely. Because there's so many reasons why I can be on site with you. It don't gotta do nothing. Like we said, once again, it has nothing to do, always doesn't have to always be with a man. It could just be about disrespect. It could be just about granted, it shouldn't be cattiness. Like, I don't like how you're looking at me. No, that's stupidity. But there's so many other reasons. And it could be jealousy, but maybe why we're jealous. Like, get into it more if you want to add that jealousy component to it. But it should be something, I think they can go so many different ways with this and make her really a good champion, a US champion, and have someone, don't let her lose the title anyway. That's the only thing I hate sometimes when they make people get it and then they make them lose it and you be like, so why did you use her? If
it was purpose.
Like, what was the purpose of giving it if you were going to take it away? But I'm excited. I'm excited that she won. It's well deserved. And you're right. She can talk like nobody's business. I really wish kind of sometimes that they pair her back with Andrade, because that match, them together,
it was special.
It was very special. And, that could be another thing. Maybe she can get her own Secret Service. But it's men.
I like this because she's little. So I could see something like that. But
like, she's standing behind the two tall men, like,
get
away from me.
Baby, this could work. Though I do think Alistair Black is back. So yes. I wonder if maybe where they're going with her next. Like, yes, she can stand on her own, but we also know people on SmackDown tend to be part of some kind of factions. Mm-hmm. So, and she left the LWO. So what's next for her? Like, I would love to know where we're going, who her next contender is going to be. Is she going to keep fighting with Chelsea Green? Is there somebody else coming up that she can fight with? So yeah, I just want to see what's next for Zelina. I think sometimes we get so excited about the win that, like we talked about with Cody, what happens after? Mm-hmm. I mean, what happens after really cements you as the kind of champion that, does incredible things, that helps with your credibility and your championship reign, helps cement mm-hmm. you in people's minds. So I'm hoping that it's a, big opportunity for her to grow and do God knows what, but please keep a microphone in Sis's hand. That's it.
Right.
That I would like a microphone in Sis's hand.
Yes.
So let's talk about Jade and Tiffany and how SmackDown smartly kicked off 2 new feuds in this match right here, which again, kudos to them for doing some women's storylines. But all right, I see that look. What do you think?
I got thoughts and feelings. Thoughts and feelings. Let's start off here. Jade does not deserve a championship match at all. Not yet. She ain't ready. Okay? She's just not ready. I just don't think she's ready. And the fact that she thought she could be like, well, I'm here. Bitch. Sorry. It's just one of those, like, no. Your feud, how you go, me and Naomi are over, and no, because once again, now you are approving, if we let her have this title match, we are proving again what Naomi is saying. Y'all roll out the red carpet for people who don't deserve it yet. She didn't earn nothing there yet. Meanwhile, now Naomi has to turn some evil person because y'all keep overlooking her. So I was happy she came out and she beat her up. Okay? I was kind of happy. Now, granted, wasn't expecting Nia to come back. But you know what? I should have expected it because Tiffy betrayed her to take the championship. But in essence, now you should have saw that one coming too. Because you were the one thing I do not like, and I love Nia. I love the fact of who technically, when she is not being this evil character, who she represents. Right? Being as a big girl myself, I'm not tall, but if I was, I'd probably be up there too. But just representing, like, watching how she didn't let so much of everybody, what they were saying, pretty much change who she was, things of that nature. But I hate when she goes into the character of being a bully, being the bully that people were being to her. That irritates me because it's like, girl, what are you doing? Why? Why do you always have to lean into being a bully? And so I understood why Tiffy did take it from her, because it was like, I'm tired of you talking to me like you've lost your mind. And all I'm doing, trying to do is help you. In essence, I don't think Nia needs a rematch yet either. I think if anybody should get a title shot, is Naomi. I think it should. I think it should be Naomi. And actually let her win it. Don't give it to her, and then keep taking it away, because they've done that too. They did that for like a whole year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Give her the title shot, and she earns her way. She gets it, and then she don't win it. No, she deserves to be a champion. She was a champion for a reason. She can carry this on her, and she should carry it while she's being a heel. Because I think that would bring so much caliber and more people to want to come after her. You understand what I'm saying? And I feel like the matches will be more intense. But once again, Jade is not ready for any of this yet. I don't get why they thought that was a smart idea.
I mean, I get why. I mean, she has crazy star power. She looks great. See, the thing about Jade, even when I saw her in AEW, I thought she looked like money. Like, she's incredible. The look, the feel, her entrances, which, you know, I'm still trying to recover from that AKA one, because that was incredible, and it just reminded me how I very much wanted to be AKA back in college, but never got around to that thing. Okay, I'm gonna move on. Yeah, I'm gonna move on. So, but I love her. I think she's great. But I can see what you're saying. She's come a long way since she joined WWE, but I could definitely see more growth in her moving forward, especially when you put her against like Tiffany, or you put her against Roxanne Perez. We're gonna get to her later. They have like the whole package that they're working with, and they're very polished. And but I think she's still learning and growing in a WWE system. So let's just give her a little bit more time. But I get it. I still want to see her a champion down the line. Just maybe not yet. That's all.
Yeah, I'm not saying that she shouldn't be a champion. And I'm not saying that she doesn't have talent. Well, kind of. But she needs to start at the bottom. Go to NXT. Build yourself up. Become NXT Women's Champion. Like, I can see you probably doing that. And then work your way back up to here. Like, there's nothing wrong with redeveloping who you are. And not just, I'm Jade Cargill. Okay, that's cool. Yes, you are the Storm. But, girl, you need to go, maybe not be a thunderstorm, and just go be a rainstorm over in NXT. That's my thoughts.
A rainstorm. Okay.
Oh, that's the saying. Noted.
Okay. All right. Let's talk Cena and Orton at Backlash. So that was a fun way to kind of start SmackDown, I think, right? So what did you think? Like, I'll just give you this. We all know I'm into the Cena character like this, not previously. And I very much enjoy anything Randy Orton does. So I'm down, if nothing else, for the fact that I just enjoy the combination of them in the ring.
I'm going to say the countdown and the cameraman was on point. That was the most iconic countdown. And he was just like, 1, 2, bam! Oh! I always love it when he does RKOs out of nowhere. I am a Randy's fan. I love him from when he used to be putting people in their heads. Like, I think the only time I didn't really care for him was when he was with Cody Rhodes and whoever else that was, and they were
I don't know what the name of that team was.
I forgot. I know it starts with an L. No, he was a legend killer. I know he became a legend killer, but it was something else. But I ain't like that. I was just like, who are y'all? Why are y'all here? Who's your parent? I don't.
Wasn't it Ted DiBiase Jr. too?
Yes.
So they were all. The premise of that group was that they were all
like
third generation or something like that. Yeah, I don't know what they were called.
I remember what it was called, but if y'all remember, y'all can put that in the comments. But other than that, I've always followed Randy. I think Randy is awesome. He's very talented, especially when he came back off his injury. You know, we both were like, oh my God, his back. Oh no. Like, we were like, no, this is real. He hurting.
Yeah.
Stop hurting my man. You know, like, it was like, you know, it was one of those, like, how can you not love him?
Right.
And you're right. I think, like we talked before about John, he finally figured out how to be himself and still be a heel. Versus whatever he was trying to figure out to be a heel, and it was like, what are you doing? Stop doing that. Don't do that no more.
Not sure.
But now he has figured it out, and I actually think it's fitting for him to go against Randy. Because remember, if this is supposed to be his last tour,
right?
The last time we're really going to see him wrestling, why not revisit the feud that he had with him? Why not? Because I even saw like a side where one time he did that like many years ago, where Randy came again and was like,
yeah,
with him having the title. So it was like, it only makes sense. But excuse me. But I also don't think he's going to lose the title. I think whoever he fights moving forward, he's not going to lose the title until his last match.
You think so?
I think so, but then I also kind of see the fence going, he may never lose the title and he's just going to be like, I retire, here you go.
He said he was going to take it home. I still want to know what this ruining of wrestling means. What does that mean? Like, does it mean he takes the belt home?
He takes the belt home and he never brings it back. Like, wait. Remember in WCW when the, I forgot her name.
Medusa?
But was it Medusa?
I don't know.
The championship?
And put it in a trash can?
Yes.
That was Medusa. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
She was called Alundra Blaze.
Yes, that's what I was saying. I said, that wasn't...
She was called that in WWE at the time, but she was always Medusa.
Right, but I'm like, maybe he could do that and take it to AEW and dump it in the trash. Or maybe go to TNA and dump it in the trash.
Please don't do that. I think John's too loyal for that. I don't think he would do either of those things.
But if he's trying to ruin wrestling, going places that you think he would never go.
I'm just going to keep against all hope that does not happen.
Well, that's my prediction. And, I would love to be wrong, but that's my prediction. And so far, some of my predictions are not always wrong.
Okay, that's fair. So y'all might have seen the post that we put up this weekend with Jacob Batu and Solo looking at him, side-eyeing him with the championship around him. And then there was another great match with LA Knight and Drew McIntyre for the first contender situation, only to be further interrupted by Jacob Batu. So there's something to say here for enjoying this entire segment, which I did, and the fun of watching Jacob Batu talk. He just is so animated. I'm in it. Whatever he's saying, I'm like, yes, whatever you say. I don't even know why I'm so entranced by him, but I am just so fascinated by the way he comes out to the ring, and his promos just feel like him. I think sometimes when WWE people do promos, you're like, yeah, okay, somebody wrote that for you, and you said it. But with him, it just feels like it's something he would say. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I mean. There's just something to the way he does this that it's fun, and I enjoyed all the physicality. I enjoyed Drew. Anytime I see Drew on my screen, I'm a happy camper because I love me some Drew McIntyre too. So it was entirely a great fun segment. Wonder if we're still going to continue kind of in this same bucket moving forward. I was like, is this Backlash Part 2, 3? Like, are we going to do like a steel cage or a triple threat or something like that for this? I don't know, but it was fun. It'll be fun to continue to see what happens, I think.
Well, I think it's going to probably be a triple threat match. I think that would happen, and I think Solo's going to interfere, but not in a way to be helpful. But yes, to watch Jacob look at him like he has lost his mind. He was like, what did you just say out loud? I know you thought that sounded good in your head, but that didn't sound good out here on this mic. What? You did who what? To who? To where?
Yeah.
You helped me. If I remember correctly, I won this fair and square. Like, no one helped me get this. Yeah. When you read his eye language, his whole body, you're like, if y'all were outside in the street, he probably would have popped you beside your head. Like, who you talking to and where did you get this from?
I'm just like, Solo, what's the countdown? We are a betrayer. We've established that as of last week. So
Right.
what's the countdown? Because you're going to want, he hasn't had much to do in a while. So
That's the other thing too. So that would be interesting to watch. Because you want to know something? I feel like Solo's not going to betray him. I think Jacob's going to betray him.
You
Because
think
Jacob's
so?
going to be tired of him constantly talking and saying whatever he's saying. And he's like, yo, I am not the silent party in this place.
Right.
Okay? I am no longer I love you Solo. Okay? I love myself. Jacob. The wolf. Like, come on. Like, you don't got no backup. I'm the only backup, but you keep talking all this junk.
Yeah, the Tongas, you're right. They're out with injuries, I believe. So
right, they're out with injuries. So which means I am the only person, because your brothers ain't fucking with you right now.
That's real.
Roman ain't fucking with you right now.
Also real. He could use some help at this point. Right. Roman could use some help.
You only got me, and you're about to not make me fuck with you either. But either way, I'm for it. I'm for whatever is gonna happen. I do, like I said, also don't want him to get his title stripped either, because I think he can go so many places.
Yes.
So many places that he can go. And also too, these are the US championships are traveling ones too. They're not just brand. So I would love to see him tiptoe his way over to Raw and be like, what y'all saying over here? What's going on? What's popping? What's cracking? What's going on?
Oh no! Well, I know that
they not.
See, I know
or
that
do they now is it? Because I thought at least those weren't brand specific.
Okay.
No, they're brand specific now.
In this way, so they each brand has either the U.S. or the Intercontinental belt, but they're equivalents. They're just on opposite. That's why there's a woman Intercontinental and a woman's U.S. title. So in that sense, they don't travel like the tag team. I don't think so. I think if they had enough talent to use this properly, I think we're going to talk about the storytelling problems that I think we're having. If you can tell, it's like balancing. I think I said this last week. It's a balancing act, trying to tell all these same stories at the same time, which is why I think it's important to highlight these championships on a regular basis on TV and on PLE, so that you know and remember who has it and why they matter. What tends to happen with these titles is that I'm like, who has it again? Question mark? Like,
look, listen, I didn't even know that they were brand specific. I thought
they do tend to flip during the draft. So usually, if the Intercontinental title is on one brand and that person gets drafted to another brand, then they'll just go, and then the corresponding other champion magically gets drafted the other way. So that's what I mean by traveling. They don't travel like the women's tag team does. They don't do that. But yeah, no, I agree with you. I'm like, I just wish we have more of an umbrella storyline that enables us to tell these stories all at the same time effectively. Because I think sometimes when you focus only on 3 or 4 stories per brand, then these other smaller ones get lost amid things. Because again, we know Alistair's back and he mixed it up with The Miz. And before we get started on that, I want to talk a little bit about that 50 cents necklace that Miz gave Mello, because I thought I had seen it at the arcade in the little claw machine. And that's how it looked. When I saw it around Mello's neck, I was like, I mean, you could have just wrote the word Andre. You didn't have to put his face. It looked.
That's what that was. It was Andre's face. I didn't. I couldn't get past how big it was. I was like, what are we, a rap star? And even rappers don't wear stuff like that no more.
I was like, he could have added some more diamonds or something. I don't know. I mean, it's not my particular cup of tea, but that necklace was something. It was the
gold plated, breakable You're right. It's probably one of those things that you get off of Amazon when it's time to dress up for the 80s or 90s, and you
I just don't
get some.
understand.
It's things I buy the kids when it's time for hip hop week, and I'm like, all right, here's your little bucket hat. Here's a little cut. Here's your little fake thing. Here
Right.
you go. And because I guarantee you, first off, I don't even know how it got so big that it actually went over his head. Okay, that was number one. It went over his head. Like it did it. He didn't have to unclasp it. First off, these cheap ass chains are not like that. Okay, that's number one. Number two, it was no need for that. Like I get it. Y'all trying to be in and y'all trying to be hip, but this is when you do consult your black creators because what?
It was weird. I'm just going to say it was weird, and I hope I don't ever have to see it again. That being said, now that we're adding Alistair Black back into the mix, I'm wondering, are they starting him a feud with Miz? Why did he start with Miz? Was it just convenient timing? That's my thing about stories. Like, what is the story? Or was it just, he's coming back and let's give him the Miz to do this? Like, I don't get it. I don't get it.
I feel like with the Miz, they're doing what they used to do, like to Natalia and stuff like that. Like the Miz, yes, his star quality gets people to pay attention and watch, but I think he has been doing a lot of teaching or letting people come back and they use him so he can still get his name out there, but
it's developmental, kind of like they were doing with Bailey, which also makes me mad. But before we get on that,
let's not
that again. Yeah. Last note of SmackDown, Bianca's injured, man, with her fingers.
I'm still trying to figure out when she did that in the match.
I think she said it was injured before that match. I think she said no.
I thought she said it was during WrestleMania.
I don't know. I can't. Y'all can confirm with us. Y'all can let me know.
Yes, confirm.
Please send us a note, a message, DM.
Yeah, I thought she said that she did it during she didn't leave the match unscathed. Yes, because she ended up with broken. And I'm going, when did you do that? What happened? Because I was watching that whole match. I don't know when that happened.
I have no idea. I really thought she said the opposite, is that she went into WrestleMania with it. But clearly, like I said, I reserve the right to be accurate in my memory of this event because it's still taking me a week to catch up on sleep. So
you know what? You're right.
I need all the sleep possible. Anyway, that her being injured, we gonna miss seeing her in action for sure. So get well soon. Absolutely. And help us figure out this whole Jade Naomi situation. Like, when does it come back around? I have questions because
or you can play in the background.
There's still some hostility between this group of people. So,
and you are the root in the cause.
I'm just saying, if you are the root and the cause, maybe it's time for you to get back into that mix a little bit there.
Just a little bit. Maybe be we shouldn't fight. I'm still mad at you, but we should not be fighting each other. And then, I don't know why you mad at me. We should just hug it out.
Oh, we should hug it out? That's what we're doing? We're hugging it out? Okay. Well, that's it for SmackDown.
That's it.
All right, so next up is Raw. But before we get into Monday Night Raw, I have a question for you, Tanisha.
Okay.
So, on Raw, it was discussed that Liv will be leaving for a little bit to go film a movie. Mm-hmm. We recently found out that Drew also got a deal to film a movie coming up pretty soon. And this has gone on with like a lot more frequency lately. Like, there's a lot of people, the WWE superstars in demand, they're crossing over, getting opportunities left and right. But where does that leave us? I'm wondering. Because while this is awesome that you're going to get to see your favorite superstars in these opportunities, and we had seen them in the past, like admittedly, WWE did a lot. Who can forget the Marine saga? So they did entertainment too, but these are bigger projects that are more Hollywood centered. So what does that leave us? I mean, are we going to be leaving some of these bigger stars leaving for movie things, and their storylines are kind of stagnant? And so Liv is currently a tag team champion. And that leaves us in a bit of a pickle, considering she's going to be gone for goodness knows how long. Now, I think the last time that she was filming, they wrote her out with some kind of injury. However, again, where does that leave us? And that becomes the norm. Does that put like a wrench in Triple H's plans? Does he try to work through that? What do you think?
I mean, this is nothing new, right? Us growing up, we had a lot of WWE superstars doing certain things, but it wasn't as obvious. Like, they didn't announce it to the world that I am about to go in this movie. Like, girl, pipe it down. Like, why do we need to know? Let your act, if you're going to be an actor and that's what you want to be and that's where you're pursuing, let that show. Like, Naomi wasn't out here talking about, oh, I'm about to be in a movie, so I'm gonna be gone. No, she did what she did, came back, even went to her premiere. It still wasn't a thing, a part of her storyline. So the fact that I feel like they have to write it a part of the storyline and saying, well, this is what I'm about to do, now it's like, girl, now even if you get injured, we know that you're not injured, because now it's like work. It's one of those, like, and I think that's where I don't like it. I don't like that that's something that's being talked about or being said. Like I said, when we were growing up, when we had our stars, yes, the Marines, it literally was the same movie over and over again.
It was.
People. But
it was.
But it was done in a way where it wasn't as obvious that's what they were doing. Or even, like, I remember Triple H, like, they used to go on certain little shows. Like, I remember Triple H was on some episode of some show or whatever, and then Steve was on a show, and Batista was doing, but it was never that obvious that's what they were doing. So I think we need to go back to not doing that, and I guess to kind of touch on, and this is going to take us to a different moment, but just talking about too, like, their Netflix thing, what they have behind with the writers.
WWE Unreal.
Yes, yeah. Unreal. I don't want. Yes, I may want to be intrigued to know little thing, but at the end of the day, you're giving me too much information. Now it is killing it for me as an adult. Yes, I know wrestling ain't really real. I know it's stories. I know it's our adult dramas and all these different things. And then when you can tell, we're like, oh no, that was a real thing. That was real. That was. But if you're gonna keep giving me all of this back behind the scenes and all this stuff, you're giving me too much, which is going to now make me go, can I believe really what you're selling me? Because if I can't believe what you're selling me, you're going to lose me. Because now it's like, remember, this is all a gimmick. This is all a gimmick about trying to get us in your seats, trying to get us here, trying to make us want to spend all this money. I mean, I still wouldn't spend that much money on WrestleMania, but you still would have, you're trying to get us to spend all this money by giving me way too much information, just going to make me go, how can I be invested? How can I be really invested in what you're trying to put out by giving me so much?
Yeah.
So that's how I feel about, I'm not saying that they shouldn't go and explore their options, because wrestling is not forever. You need to have your backup plan for sure. But I don't think it should be something that you should be telling me, because yes, now your storyline is going to be stagnant. You are a tag team. Now what you going to do? Now we got to wait? Now Raquel can't sit here and try to defend these titles because you ain't here, or you're going to figure out how to put it in your schedule to keep moving and still try to do this. What if you get injured for real on the movie set? Now that sets you back more. So if that was really the case, then they should never got the championships back. You know what I'm saying? Like, they should have gave it to them, and then if Becky and Lyra was going to lose the titles, let them lose the titles to somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Let them lose the titles to one of the tag teams that are on NXT that are good. So then it makes sense that we have this title and everything is fighting, versus now I got to kind of write you in, write you out, and now we're stagnant.
Yeah.
And what, we're going to have another situation that happened with Jade and Bianca and Naomi. Now we got Raquel and somebody else. Now who took out Liv, when we already know she took herself out? Like, come on. like what? This is crazy.
I agree.
That's how I feel about it.
I agree with you in a lot of ways. I think we talked a little bit just between us about how hard it is to suspend belief in general as an adult. Mm-hmm. And there was always something magical about wrestling where you didn't know how all the sausage was made. Like, yes, we could probably guess some of these things, but I don't really want to dig into it. However, as someone who also is a writer and innately curious, I am a little dying to know what happens in these writer rooms. Because I think that would answer some of the questions we have. Like, what's going on with your storyline? Why don't we see more women's storylines? Is it the writing team? Is it the lack of ideas? Is it the lack of experience in this particular subject matter? Is it because these people are traditionally writers for TV and not necessarily writers for sports entertainment? Like, there's a lot of questions I think we have had over the years that I'm curious how many answers we're going to get. Admittedly, I don't necessarily want to know everything. It's one of the reasons that I'm very careful with how I watch like LFG and some of these other kind of developmental shows. It's actually one of my favorite parts of that Heels Stars show was that we got to see a little most sometimes. And so now I always watch for wrestlers talking to each other in the ring. But yeah, I think by giving away all of these things and kicking us out of kayfabe, and we're just involved in it like they're regular people. The same reason I wouldn't go up to Drew McIntyre and call him by his real name. The same reason I'm always going to call Shawn Michaels, right? Like, there's something that's really important about keeping this veil to a degree up. And if you want to let people in, I just hope that it just gives us just enough and maybe not everything. Because I would really like to continue wondering why somebody's storyline didn't work out or someone got injured instead of knowing, well, this person gave their 2 weeks notice and so the writer didn't have anything else to go on and so we dropped Bayley from WrestleMania for that you know what I mean? Like, I don't want any of those details. I don't know how you tell the story without telling an element of truth. So I am concerned about giving away so much of the secret sauce, the magic behind the veil. I don't necessarily want it. I think just like in real life, as soon as you found out about Santa and the Tooth Fairy, those moments lost some of their significance and their effect and your emotional attachment to it. I just don't want that to happen with wrestling because honestly, I am well aware that it's scripted, but I love where the script meets that kind of physicality that you can't guess. Like, I don't know every move that's going to happen. I don't want to know every move that's going to happen either. I don't want to know how they're signaling every single move either. So please keep it as little, I don't know, keep it as light as possible. Don't dig too deep into all the details. I almost wish they didn't do something like this, to be honest. Even with my curiosity, I'm not necessarily pleased about that. But to go back to people leaving for movie stuff, like you said, it's not unusual. We've seen it before. But I also would like them to keep that stuff away from the storyline so that we don't have to know as much about that. Like, there's lots of reasons people left. She could just have, broken up with Dom and decided she needed to go nurse her wounds. Like, I don't know. I don't know. She could have run away from Raquel. She could have, I don't know. Raquel maybe turns on her. Maybe she's too stressed out with Judgment Day and she doesn't want to deal with it. Maybe Finn does something to sabotage her. Like, I don't know. But I don't want it to be so clearly obvious that she's leaving for a movie. So next time, you could keep that, y'all. You can keep that.
I mean, just to touch on one thing and then I'm done. When they start talking about relationships and saying certain things, they also need to stop. They need to make it believable. They need to stop making it not believable. So that's the only thing I say. Like, we need to, I get we're teetering the line, especially if they're in a relationship with somebody out on the outside. But back then when we were growing up, even if they were teething on the line, we still didn't know.
Well, that's because there weren't as many dirt sheets and there wasn't as much, there wasn't the internet that goes on.
That's true. I keep forgetting that we grew up in an era where everything had to be printed. Having the internet was a special treat.
It was a luxury item.
Everybody didn't have the access to how they have it now, and everybody can like, oh, let me snap a picture. But it's
Right.
just still one of those things like sometimes just like how like us doing this podcast, right? I have where it's my personal life that no one can get into. And then I have where it's the business side, where it's like you're getting seeing me and things of that nature. I wish that could also be somehow a requirement too, especially if you're gonna start putting random people in relationships with people that you know.
You mean on WWE, like the
Yeah,
whole Liv and
yeah.
Dom thing? Yeah. And even the Dom
Even
and
with
Rhea thing, there was a lot of
there
conversation
was a lot of
about
conversation
other
about it,
people.
but I ain't gonna lie, they seem more believable than Liv and Dom does. Like
You
it's
think so?
yes. I mean, maybe because they also weren't going above and beyond, like trying to kiss each other and trying, but their chemistry with each other seemed more believable. If that makes sense. Or even like when Zelina with and Andrade, their relationship seemed very believable.
Yes,
That
it
it was
did.
more than what it was. But meanwhile, they had two separate lives.
Yeah, I get it.
You understand what I'm saying?
I see what you're
But
trying to say. Yeah.
but we can go on. I can talk about that forever. I
No,
just
I
wanted to say
agree with
that
you.
that was just a snippet of just us also just talking about the writing and talking about, you know, if we're going to bring these characters up, just like with Stephanie and Triple H. Yes, we learned in the end they were always together, but
well, not always, according to some of these documentaries. Like it gets a little dicey there,
right, it gets a little dicey,
but they
still,
ended up together for sure. Yes.
right. But like even like us, remember when they used to have weddings?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, oh
Yeah.
crap, like stuff like that. That was believable, even though we knew it wasn't really real.
Yes.
Now
I still remember Macho Man and Elizabeth. That was my favorite wrestling
but they
wedding.
actually were married. I do remember they were married. So that
so according to this other,
oh no, they were not actually married.
They
The
were.
other one said they
were either separated or divorcing at that time. So it was fantastic acting.
Oh, I know when they went to WCW, they were divorcing.
It was before that. If you get a chance, I highly encourage everyone to check out.
Those are my people. Those me, and Miss Elizabeth.
I know. Rest in peace. Rest in peace.
I have thoughts and feelings, but we're not gonna get there. So,
yes.
But still, even the wedding with Stephanie and Tess.
That was
you understand
fun.
What I'm saying?
Yes.
Like those relationships, like stuff like that. It was like.
It was fun. And did you see Indy and Dexter Loomis? That was in NXT. That was the last.
I saw snaps, but that was still good too.
It was
That's
great.
Still like you're like, oh, y'all really together? Knowing damn well they probably not really together, but or stuff like that. It was so believable,
right? Because we weren't looking for all this information on the outside. I know having Dom get married out the blue, having Rhea get married, I was like, good gracious, here we are.
And posting all of this on social media, and you're still like,
but it's a movie. That's like I try to think of it that way. Like these they're playing characters on TV, but it is hard, and I think that's always the line we're going to walk. Is that it's hard to see the character versus the person, especially if they're going to go out and do movies, right? So who's to say Liv is going to play anything like herself in this new movie? She might be on some caliber where she paying 1900 something, or being Liv from the prairie. For all we know, we don't know where Liv is going to be in this movie, and I think it's going to be important to differentiate who she is, like as a human being. I don't know her real name because again, I don't like to call wrestlers by their real names, but she's going to be herself in this role, and not necessarily Liv Morgan as such and such as her role, right? So I don't know how we figure it out. I don't know how we can keep the magic alive. Welcome any feedback, any thoughts, how you think that has changed the way you've seen wrestling. If it has, like, if you're able to do the suspend belief thing with me, or if you're like my sister over here who's like, nah, I know too much, so it's not a thing. You can let us know. All right, so there's so many places we could go with this.
I know, that's why I was like, I said, we can have a whole segment on this. This is too much. We got so many.
So let's not do that. Let's move on to Becky bringing the heat and the answers on Bayley's attack. this week.
I just want to say, I didn't ask.
She didn't ask.
I didn't ask. I wasn't like, oh my God, who did it? I didn't. We were just more upset the fact that y'all wrote her off the show. It wasn't even a question of who attacked Bailey. We already knew Bailey didn't get attacked. So it wasn't even that. So the fact that she was like, I looked at the video myself and it was me. But I was like, girl, now see, you piggybacking off of Jade and Naomi. And she's like, you don't gotta take weeks to figure it out. I did it.
That was my favorite part, is that she was like, you don't have to take weeks. And I was like, good, because I don't have time for another whodunit.
But it wasn't, but it's still, like I said, who was asking? I wasn't asking who did it to
I mean, I was asking who was behind.
No, you was asking who was behind Bailey getting attacked or who
was
written off Bailey. Exactly. This is what we're talking about. We even forgot she was attacked. It was a fact the matter of why was she written off? And then on top of that, so now you're telling me it was you. So now on top of that, now you're telling me you've written off Bailey to put Becky back in here because you couldn't figure out no other story for her to go into? Make that make sense, homie.
Well,
make it make sense.
With Becky coming back, it takes us into a whole nother place. So we know that Becky and Bailey are going to have some kind of encounter when Bailey comes back, for sure. And that's exciting, I would think. Like, I think that there was some initial Bailey-Becky match type things, but the feud never really took off, is what I'm hearing from the internet. Not Kiara, I don't remember if there was a Bailey and Becky anything. I don't remember. But they're basically saying that they haven't had like a full-fledged feud yet, so this is a great opportunity to do that. Now, where Lyra comes in is the confusing part for me.
Oh.
So, is it that Becky is going to take Lyra's belt and send Lyra off into the ether somewhere, and then Bailey and Becky fight over this championship? Or, yeah, that's about the only thing I'm thinking at this time, because no one else is messing with Lyra. So, even though she's a champion, shouldn't there be 3, 4, 5 other people trying to get the smoke? I don't understand. This is another problem for me. The women on the Raw roster, they just seem absent a lot of times. Like, Are you present? Were you called for? Did they send for you? Did you not get on the flight? Like, I don't think it's fair.
Not get on the flight.
That it's like the only people they're paying attention to is the new arrivals and Rhea and Io Sky and Bailey. I'm sorry, and then Becky, because Bailey's not here. And then it's Stephanie Becker and Ivy Nile, only because she's part of where El Grande Americana originated from. That's all we're going to say there.
Okay.
Chad Gable's group.
Okay.
So where's the other women on the roster? It feels like ever since you brought up Roxanne and Julia, who admittedly, and I said last week, love them, think they're great. It's great additions to this Raw roster. But where are the other females? There were other females.
You're right, there were, but I don't know who they are.
I mean,
wait, but most of them are injured though. You got Damage Control. Damage Control was on Raw. Damage Control is no longer. It's just Io.
What happened to Dakota?
Isn't she still injured? Don't she still got the thing on her brace on her knee?
I think she was cleared. But okay. All right. So there's Dakota.
Then you have...
Where's Shayna? Okay, and Zoe Stark.
Okay.
Where is Kiana James? We ain't seen her since they brought her up one time last year. Anyway.
Who's Kiana James?
She was big in NXT.
Is that the one with the dreads?
No. Oh. That is Cadence Chance.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. I remembered you, girl. Because I apologize that I didn't remember your name. So I remembered you this time.
We also had
Wait. I think I said her name wrong again.
I don't know. I can't tell you. I just know she has dreads. Okay. You guys can correct us in the comments. Or remind us of people that we don't remember who used to be on Raw.
Please. I mean, because
but that just says something. Because we can't remember. They're not existent. Because they're not writing them in. Once again, we need y'all to do better. WWE, we need you to do better.
Kaden Carter is her name. I got it. So I guess I'm going to be apologizing to you every week because I can never remember your name, and I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Kaden. Anyway.
And you know what's funny, Kaden? That is her nephew's name.
It is. Anyway. Which is why I remember, some parts of it, but not all of it. That being said, where's the rest of them? I'm gonna keep having the same argument over and over. I'm excited that you are bringing Roxanne and Julia up, though question mark on the Julia tip because she was doing well in NXT. So where was the need to bring her up? Roxanne has killed the game. She has done everything that you could possibly do in NXT. So I'm happy to see her up. But Stephanie Becerra spending a lot of time on the main roster too, folks. Like, y'all don't have no other females. Where are the other women wrestlers that are just not getting their shine? I just want there to be equal opportunities all the way around. I think Zoe is a freaking find. I think Shayna is incredible. I think there are stories with these women that can make sense. In fact, Zoe is all on Elon's ex situation, talking about how she doesn't appreciate seeing other wrestlers' asses when they're wrestling. Like, she was putting in those black marks for Liv's red outfit. Did the same thing I think with Rhea not too long ago.
Oh no! Because they're seeing cheeks. Like we're gonna have another Molly Holly.
It was cheeks and more cheeks. I don't know. I was like, well, she has feelings about this, obviously, and I mean, hello, here she is stirring up the pot on Elon's ex, and no one is thinking to include this as an opportunity. Opportunity is my point. Yes, happy to see them. Happy to see Ivy in a match this week, but there's some other badasses on your roster who are not getting any shine, and I just think there's more opportunity to spread it around. That is all.
I keep trying to tell you, you should just go right for them. Anyway, so
if I want to move to Connecticut, I'll think about it. You just want me to be closer to you.
I mean, that would be helpful. Yeah, of course.
You just want me to live there. All right, so let's talk. Not snorting.
That was me or you snorted?
That was you.
Oh.
So let's talk about the thing nobody asked for.
Logan Dan Paul.
Who asked
for you? Even my kids was like, why is he on the screen? They don't want him there. And on top of that, who thinks, I need to understand who he thinks he is to think that he deserves a title shot. Negro, please.
He won one match against AJ Styles recently. Then I never asked for this. Of all contenders for Jay, zero, two of them, four of them would be Logan Paul. Like, what is going on here?
Didn't see that one coming. Nah.
And then the sucker punch further pissed me off because I know, listen, between us, I know we're not supposed to like Logan Paul, right? But I strongly dislike this man. Oh. And the sucker punch didn't help. I know, maybe that's the point of it all. But no one asked for this. No one asked for it. It does not excite me. It is not fair to Jay that his title defense is that full. Like, can you give him somebody worthwhile who is currently a full-time wrestler? Can we? a full-time superstar, if you will, please. What the hell? Whose brainchild? What's this? Do we have a deal with Logan Paul that we have to continually put him in main events?
Because I was sitting here telling you that. I said he probably wrote in his contract.
I hate it. I hate this deal. I hate it. It's along the lines when I hate seeing people. Somebody said somebody was in AEW this week punching somebody. Was it Trey?
Oh, that was me.
That was you?
I told you. I said it was Master P.
All right, Master P. It's on that level about my interest for either one of seeing these people in a wrestling ring. Like, and Logan Paul's not bad. He's just not full time.
He needs. It's not even about him being full time. He needs to earn his right. He needs to earn his right. I'm gonna tell you right now. They do this match and Jay loses. I'm gonna boycott.
How are you gonna boycott when we have this show to watch?
Well, I guess I'll just stay mute the whole time and talk about nothing and talk about how I distaste the fact that my Jay, who did all this work for being there for 15 years, and y'all let him go to a YouTuber because he's popular. Nick Brown, please.
It's making me feel some of the Corey Graves tweets from when he got in trouble. Because same, I agree. How do these people just get to skip the line? Like, y'all haven't been doing the work. And it's a little annoying. And I understand WWE's in this empire building stage, but beware, people, because we all saw how empires have crumbled. So, because greed.
And we watched it on TV.
Yes. And greed is one of those things that can really put you in a situation. So if we can just start being a little more focused on the people on our roster and a little less on the celebrities, except for my next point is Pat McAfee. Except for him.
I love me some Pat.
Because he was the thing I didn't know I needed for WWE. And I don't know if it's because he's as big as a fan as we are. I don't know if it's like seeing one of us at the table, which is what makes it incredibly special, but it is like a joy to watch him. Now, this is not to say he doesn't get annoying sometimes, because sometimes I'm like, dude, he's like that dude who you watch wrestling with in the crowd and you know he's drunk and you're sitting there drinking too and you're sitting there with him and every 5 words you're like, hey, shut up. Like, that's that guy. Doesn't mean you don't enjoy having him around. Just that you don't want to hear everything that comes out his mouth. That being said, I usually enjoy Pat. Sometimes he takes it a little far, but, I consider it like, my tax. Just like when I went to wrestling and I was near the drunk guy, and that was my tax because I paid for the ticket and didn't get the more expensive one. You know what I mean? That was the option available to me. But I will say his promo response to Gunther was great. I felt every bit of that speech. I was engaged. I was interested. I think he might be killed by Gunther, but I'm hoping you survive this encounter for you and for Michael Cole for putting you in such a situation, because I don't think I need friends like that. I'm gonna need my friend to shut their mouth when there's a threat that's going to come on both of us. I don't want to die. Don't be like my sister and get us both having to break out of jail. I just wish that he had been a little more mindful and then put Pat in such. Yeah, that one. I wish that he had been more mindful, and by he, I meant Michael Cole, about his words when Gunther was real close, because clearly he was feeling real froggy, and Gunther told him, I got you. And as a result, Pat McAfee got involved and he had to get it too. So, all this to say, love the promo, love the feeling, love the heartfelt moment about Pat talking about that he gives back and he does all of these things. I've loved Pat McAfee even more after his promo, but I do think he might get killed at Backlash.
I think Pat was right for sticking up for his friend. You're right. I am that friend. I'll be the one who stick up for you and start the drama at the same time. Just because. I mean, technically, Gunther came out because he's like, y'all talking all this junk, what you saying? And I get why Michael was like, hey, you know, we're just trying. But if you want to keep egging me on, I'm going to tell you too. Well, you did tap out, so I don't understand what you're upset about. You did it, not me. You. And clearly he fed into what Gunther wanted him to do, which was, oh, good, you said it. Now I'm going to try to make you tap out. Now, Pat, did any friends going to do? Hold on. Let me take it back. Pat is going to do what any true friend will do. Because there's some friends out there that are not true friends and they'll walk the other way and be like, you started this, you out.
Some of us don't want jail time for our friends' actions. I'm just
listen. If we go down, you have to go down with me.
Nope.
You can't sit here and try to make it seem like it's just me. Because you was in the car with me, riding with me, going wherever I was going. So you knew how your sister is.
Exactly.
At any point in time, this could turn left. And if you choose at that moment, you don't want to go left, then I guess you get out the car, but you didn't get out the car. So what I'm saying is that Pat did what any true friend would do. Protect. Go down for it. And yes, I do think he's going to get a beating of a lifetime. For sure. But I also know from watching Pat doing certain matches that he does train.
He does.
He makes sure he is not some mindless celebrity just coming in here trying to take over. And he is a fan of wrestling as well, but he's training and he knows what he's going to have to get himself into. And yes, that promo was amazing. That was definitely something that came from the heart because at the end of the day, he looks at Michael as this is not my friend, that's my brother. And he can't defend himself. But I'm with Pat. I don't think you're going to win. I would be highly shocked and very excited if you do win. But you may be off air for a while after that. But you know what? It's all right.
We're just gonna pray over you. We're gonna send you all the good wishes and that you can return to Raw. Probably not directly, but within a couple weeks after this experience with Gunther, who we know is a killer. So, I mean, I support your integrity, Pat, but I don't think it's a problem should you want to rethink it. I would urge you to rethink.
Go for it. Beat that Trick's butt. Beat his ass. Get him.
I would urge you to rethink it. That is all. So we're going to wrap up our Raw wrap up with the thing. Why are you like this? With the thing that resonated with us the entire time. So we're talking Seth, Braun, Sami Zayn segment with, of course, wise man Paul Heyman. First question. So is this like a Bloodline 3.0? I mean, what do you think?
I think Seth is trying too hard. He's trying too hard not to be, like, especially he's like, I am not the Bloodline. Stop trying to compare me. Sir, you just call Paul Heyman the wise man. What, sir? You don't got a name for him yet? You didn't figure it out? No, you know why? Because you got used to calling him the wise man. And then all of a sudden you got this tan, super tan, Ron. I don't know why he was so orange. But okay, because Ron's face kind of popped in my head and I realized how orange he was. Not saying y'all can't get tan, but just understand there's levels. And when you come out looking orange, you've gone too far. Anyway, but do I think it's a Bloodline 3.0? I think he's trying, but it's not no Bloodline. Because you can't be a Bloodline without your tribal chief, number one. Okay? Number one. Just because you got a wise man does not mean it's a Bloodline. Okay? It doesn't mean that. And just because you got somebody who's going to do your dirty work for you because you a punk.
Not calling Seth a punk. Okay.
Yes, I'm calling him a punk. You know why I'm calling him a punk this time? Because you try to get Sami, who is supposed to be your friend, to get traded. So because you didn't like what he was saying to you.
But it was an opportunity. He was going to.
It was opportunity.
I mean,
you're right. It was opportunity. But at some point, not every opportunity is worth your integrity.
That's true.
Not every opportunity is worth you not telling the truth. Because at the end of the day, Sammy was a part of the bloodline. Sammy saw it. So he's looking at it from a different perspective, as in, first off, you talk so much junk about it. You sat here and said you would never do this. This, that, and the third.
And here we are.
Over here. And look at where we are.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to remind you who you have over here, who you were talking so much about. And then who you have over here, who's doing your dirty work. Because clearly that's what he's doing. It doesn't take rocket scientists to see what's happening right now. And the fact that you want to be in denial about it, because you're like, I am not. I am the architect. I am Seth freaking Rollins. Okay. So if you're Seth freaking Rollins, then why are you fighting off of Roman?
I mean, I would challenge that thinking. Because
tell me.
It feels more like Monday Night Messiah rather than...
Oh, when he was... Oh, I hated that, Seth. But go ahead.
But it feels a little bit like the, maniacal, evil, cool. So it is almost like he was infected by what Paul Heyman brings with him, because Roman had the same feeling, this really calm, manipulating person. And Seth has always kind of been like that a little bit. Remember, he's the one who started the betrayals. Mm-hmm. And honestly, if you want to go back to that pandemic era, you saw, Buddy Matthews. He's on his way back. Potentially, Rhea's real life husband. And they had a good thing going. It got lost into whatever was going on around that time. I don't know. But this Monday Night Messiah thing was working. And he was trying to get people to follow him. He was trying to get, apostles.
I remember.
Mm-hmm. To me, this feels like a continuation of that, except that he now has someone to advise him how to do it properly. And then he also has, which allowed him to recruit Braun, or Paul whoever, to help him make this dream come true. But he feels very much, even in the outfit that he was wearing.
That was a very nice outfit. I ain't gonna lie. That was very nice. His shoes was nice. His loafers were nice.
It felt very Monday Night Messiah to me. And I was like, I liked it. I was here for it. I mean, cynical, crazy Seth was very fun. And the one who didn't really care about people was enjoyable as well. And also, this other thing, I don't think the audience knows what to do at this point. So if you were listening to the audio during that segment, we were puzzled because no, we don't want Seth to hurt Sami Zayn, who we love, but also we want to sing his song. So I don't know, guys. We might need to rethink some of this packaging for Seth and who he becomes and what he's going to be, because it also feels like very early when Roman had come back and started the Tribal Chief stuff, and they still had his old music, and so it was very confusing. So I just want us to bring this new presentation to its ultimate vision, because right now, if I don't know who Seth is supposed to be, but I do love it. Whatever it is, I'm down. I just don't. I need more clarity on what I'm down for and what potential merchandising opportunities I can cash in.
Know what I'm down for? When Roman comes back and beats his ass.
Okay, well, I don't hate that either. I don't. But as we wrap up Raw, we have our last wrestling segment, the tap out of the week. Ding, 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 ding. Let me out. So, based on the things that we wish we didn't see this week, so I'm going to go first, and I'm going to tell you my tap out of the week: Logan Paul and Jey Uso for a championship. Boo, 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 boo. Infinity. Please, of all things that are holy, why would you do this? Please rethink it. Give him a real contender, please, because he's worked too hard to get Logan Paul. So that's my tap out. You got one, Nisha?
send Jade to NXT.
Why?
She doesn't need the WWE Championship. She don't need the. She's not ready. Let her go to NXT. Get more developmental. Beat up everybody there. Then bring her way back up here. Like, there's other things.
Okay.
Or give her back the tag team titles.
You're not dying.
If they were, especially since they won it for the. Hold on. Time out. Actually, you know what? This is my real tap out. Why are we still having the Slammies? And it ain't how it was when we were growing up. It don't make no sense. It seemed like they were trying to do a little something where it was kind of trying to be funny, but it was like, first off, why did they get the tag? If y'all ain't gonna bring the Slammies back at how we knew it, where it was enjoyable, where people were singing and beating people up and still singing, this is stupid. There's no need for these awards.
She misses Todd Pettengill and all the things that came with the
tap out. I say tap out. Okay, I'm good.
Okay. This week we covered a lot. We went into all sorts of things, parenting problems that we've been experiencing, like extracurricular activities and children who don't know how to not disrespect teachers. And then we rounded it out with our love of wrestling. And we just want to thank you for joining us this week. We had a great time chatting with you guys about Raw and SmackDown. This is your moment. If you have not, remember to like, subscribe, hit that bell. Join us on all our social channels, Main Event Mamas, on X, on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook, and don't forget our YouTube channel.
And remember, we are not new to this.
We're true to this. And this is Main Event Mamas.